Hello guys, Tops here. Today on our series, how perks work, Backstabber. I'm sorry. How does Backstabber work in Battle Bros? So, for every brother that surrounds an opponent, you get plus 10% hit chance. That includes War Dogs. So, what does that mean? If you are in a 1 versus 1 scenario, you don't get additional hit chance, right? But as soon as like 2 brothers are on an adjacent tile to an opponent, you would get plus 10% hit chance. If your opponent, has underdog, that would be halved, so you would only get 5% additional hit chance because underdogs negate this effect. So underdog kind of counters Backstabber to a certain degree. So against underdog targets, you would get plus 5 for every opponent, for every brother that surrounds. For opponents that don't have underdog, you would get plus 10. So if your opponent is surrounded by 3 brothers, like 3 of your brothers are adjacent to this guy, you would get plus 20% hit chance. So this is nice on backliners who are in the backline and are most likely attacking opponents that are engaged with other brothers in combat, right? Or with, like, let's say 2 of your frontliners are engaging one opponent. The one guy that is behind them, your polearm guy behind that, would get plus 10% hit chance for that thing. Because it only counts the brothers that are on the adjacent tile to that opponent. You don't get plus 20, you would get plus 10. So Backstabber is relatively early. You can get this, it's a tier 3 thing, right? So you would get this on level 4, or you can get this on level 4. And it gives you additional hit chance, which your brother level 4 most likely has low melee skill, so low hit chance. Backstabber only grants to melee, so doesn't work with ranged, unless fast adaptation, which works for ranged and for melee. Also, fast adaptation works in a 1 versus 1. Backstabber does not. But these are the primarily things that gives you additional hit chance. Backstabber, fast adaptation, and to a certain degree gifted. And Backstabber is very specific for that case. It's only for melee and only if you can surround your opponents. So naturally, it's better if you have a lot of bros. So basically, if you play something like, if you have a mod that increases your brother's company, or if you play Legends mod, or if you have Peasant Militia, where you have 16 bros in your battle, or I think the Manhunter Origin has also additional brothers. So if you have a lot of bros in a company, you have a lot of surround, and you have a lot of backliners, Backstabber might be nice. Same as fast adaptation though, if your brother already has like a pretty high melee skill and pretty good hit chance, Backstabber doesn't do that much. Let's see what Turtle's Guide has to say. Turtle's Guide on Steam, best Battle Bros guide. And yeah, so it says on average grants plus 5 melee skill, which is it's pretty good. But again, that competes with stuff like fast adaptation and gifted. So accuracy is important, but like if you're good brothers, you don't need it. Nice to have early game on militia and stuff. It's better on bros with worse melee skill, basically. And you can get plus 10% chance if you drop a dog right next to an opponent. So that's pretty nice. And as you can see, like Footman, Ancient Undead, Conscript, so anything that uses shield wall consistently, the additional hit chance tends to be pretty good against. But versus opponents that have low defense, stuff like orcs with low defense, or opponents that don't use shields and don't have dodge or something like that, so opponents that are relatively easy to hit, Backstabber is not that great. Misconception, Backstabber is better on pole arms. Yeah, depends. Again, I already said like if like 2 brothers are in front of you and you attack the opponent they are adjacent to, you only get plus 10, not plus 20. But again, I would say like pole arms or like backliners in general have the perk points to spend in accuracy because they're not engaged in melee most of the time, so they can spend less perk on defense and more perks on offense. So that's kind of like my approach. Let's check really fast in-game on what kind of brothers I take fast adaptation. I don't think I take fast adaptation that much. I think I basically never take it. But again, I always go for Backstabber, I mean. Again, I always go for like the high tier bros and I fish for high melee skill. So I tend to not take that. It's a level 4 perk, so it's kind of a tempo perk. It's kind of like you can take fast adaptation gifted Backstabber and just have a super accurate bro super early. That would be an approach. So yeah, stacks also really nicely with swords and spears. So swords have plus 10% hit chance, spears have plus 20% hit chance. And if you do like the fast adaptation gifted Backstabber route, you can have bros that have relatively low melee skill, hit relatively consistent with stuff like two-handed weapons. So you don't need to use swords and spears as much in the early game. Again, I think this is more for a run where you want to have a lot of power early on. You want to do a lot of damage early on, and you kind of push your limit a little bit, right? So that kind of combo, you go all gas, no brakes, all offense, no defense. You don't take like Colossus, Underdog, Colossus, 9 lives and dodge. You go for fast adaptation, gifted Backstabber, and just hit things, right? Yeah, so it's a nice way to have guys that have relatively low melee skill and transition them into damage machines early on with two-handed weapons. Downside is you don't really have the defense to spare, so if you get hit, you're gonna die. So it's an approach thing, right? Do you want to hit super early, super hard, or do you want to kind of have a balanced bro who does a little bit of both? Like you take fast adaptation, Colossus gifted, so you are kind of defensive but still capable of hitting stuff, or do you just go full defensive with like Colossus dodge 9 lives and shield and then just be a tank or something? Again, it's an approach thing, up to you. I would say it tends to be better on backliners who are not engaged because you become a glass cannon if you don't take perks early on that increase your survivability and you go for additional hit chance and damage instead. So that's that. And again, the arguments against and for that tends to be better if you have a lot of brothers, so you have more chance to proc the Backstabber bonus. And to be honest, not too many opponents in the game have Underdog. It's pretty rare that opponents have Underdog in this game, so the additional hit chance is nice with most enemies, especially these nasty shield wall guys. You guys know Ancient Undead and Noble House armies. Yeah, fuck those guys. Fuck the shield walls, man. Shields are OP in the game. As I always say, shields are OP. Backstabber, counter shields. So, if you want to hit, take Backstabber. Yeah. And if you want to survive, take defensive perks. Alright guys, this is it for today. I would like to hear in the comments, what do you think of Backstabber and how do you use Backstabber? On what kind of bros, what kind of builds you use Backstabber on. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.